Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess whose mother had died. Before her death, the queen had given her daughter a small golden ball, telling her to keep it close to her heart whenever she was in danger or needed guidance. The king, after the queen's death, decided to marry his daughter to a prince who lived far away. He packed her off with a large retinue of servants and a waiting maid, who was jealous of the princess's beauty and her high position. The waiting maid's name was Connie Marquisa, and she had her own reasons for wanting the princess's place. She convinced the princess to switch clothes with her, and to let her ride in the princess's carriage while the princess would dress as a peasant girl and ride with the luggage. The princess agreed without suspecting any evil intentions. When they reached a river, Connie Marquisa ordered the princess to wash her face in the river to get rid of her sunburn. The princess obeyed but was then ordered to throw the golden ball into the river. The princess cried but eventually threw it in. Connie Marquisa took the princess's place and documents and rode on to the prince's kingdom. The real princess was left to tend geese and was known as the Goose Girl. One day, a strange occurrence involving the horse Falada, who knew the princess's secret, caught the attention of the prince's people. Falada would speak to the Goose Girl whenever she came near him. The new princess, Connie Marquisa, discovered this and ordered Falada's head to be cut off. The Goose Girl begged the butcher to nail Falada's head above the large dark portal through which she had to pass every day while tending her geese. Every day when she passed under Falada's head she would say, "Falada, Falada, thou art dead," and Falada would reply, "Alas, Goose Girl, how bitterly thou weepest." The king's son saw her one day while she talked to Falada's head and was amazed by her beauty and her sad fate. He begged her to tell him her story. She told him everything and he decided to help her. He dressed her in royal clothes and took her to his room. When the false princess was brought before him for marriage, he noticed something was amiss but didn't know what. That night, he ordered his servant to put some peas on the floor under the false bride's bed and to see if she would sleep. The false bride didn't sleep well due to the peas, but the real princess slept soundly. The prince realized that the false bride wasn't the right one. He questioned the real princess again and decided to reveal the truth to everyone. The false princess was punished by being stripped naked and put into a barrel filled with boiling water and studded with pointed nails, and she was dragged through the streets by horses. The real princess married the prince, and they lived happily ever after. After the real princess was forced to tend geese, she felt a deep sense of loss and isolation. She would often talk to Falada, the horse, who would offer her words of comfort. Falada had been a loyal companion to the princess, and his ability to speak to her in times of need was a solace. As the days passed, the false princess, Connie Marquisa, settled into her new role, enjoying the luxuries and privileges that came with being the prince's betrothed. However, she was cruel to the servants and courtiers, treating them poorly and demanding more and more attention. Meanwhile, the Goose Girl continued her daily routine, tending to the geese and speaking to Falada's head whenever she passed under the portal. The prince, who had seen her talking to Falada's head, would often sneak glances at her, noticing her beauty and kindness. One day, the prince decided to invite the Goose Girl to the palace, under the guise of needing help with a task. He wanted to get to know her better and understand her story. The Goose Girl was hesitant at first but eventually agreed to meet with him. When she arrived at the palace, the prince was struck by her beauty and poise. He asked her to tell him more about her life and how she ended up tending geese. The Goose Girl shared her story, and the prince listened intently, determined to help her. As the days passed, the prince spent more and more time with the Goose Girl, learning about her kindness, her intelligence, and her courage. He realized that she was the true princess, and he fell deeply in love with her. The false princess, Connie Marquisa, grew increasingly jealous and paranoid, sensing that the prince's affections had shifted. She tried to manipulate him and maintain her position, but the prince saw through her deceit. Eventually, the truth about the false princess's identity and her cruel treatment of the real princess was revealed. The prince was outraged and ordered Connie Marquisa to be punished for her crimes. The real princess, now restored to her rightful place, married the prince in a grand ceremony. They lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness and wisdom. The Goose Girl's story became a legend, told and retold throughout the land, a reminder of the power of kindness, courage, and true love. As the real princess and the prince settled into their new life together, they faced many challenges in ruling the kingdom. They worked tirelessly to ensure the welfare of their subjects, listening to their problems, and making fair and just decisions. The real princess, having experienced hardship and loss, was particularly compassionate towards those in need. She established programs to help the poor and the marginalized, and her kindness earned her the love and respect of the people. The prince, who had fallen deeply in love with the real princess, was overjoyed to see her happy and thriving in her new role. He supported her in all her endeavors, and together they made a formidable team. As for Connie Marquesa, the false princess, she was punished for her crimes by being forced to live a life of servitude in a remote village. She was made to realize the error of her ways and the harm she had caused to others. Years passed, and the kingdom prospered under the rule of the real princess and the prince. They had children and grandchildren, and their love for each other only grew stronger with time. One day, the real princess decided to tell her story to her children and grandchildren, hoping that they would learn from her experiences. She spoke of her mother's golden ball, her journey as the Goose Girl, and her ultimate triumph over adversity. The children listened with wide eyes, mesmerized by their mother's tale. They asked her questions and begged her to tell them more about her life as a Goose Girl. The real princess smiled, happy to share her story with the next generation. As the years went by, the legend of the Goose Girl spread far and wide, inspiring countless people with its message of hope, resilience, and true love. And the real princess and the prince lived happily ever after, surrounded by their loving family and the people they had sworn to protect and serve. The story of the Goose Girl became a timeless classic, reminding people of the importance of kindness, humility, and staying true to oneself. It was passed down through generations, a testament to the power of love and redemption.